Okay, so since our first couple of videos, it's a quick summary. We take our income, we put it in our brokerage account, we buy dividend paying assets, we use the margin to pay the bills, and then we just continue to do that. So take our paycheck, we put it in a checking, we then move our bill money to Robinhood, invest in the stocks, dividend paying stocks. When those pay dividends, the dividends pay the margin down, and then the margin is used to pay bills that goes back to checking. So when our money comes into checking, we put our bill money and transfer it into Robinhood. Purchase your dividend paying stocks, which when the dividends pay, they will pay down the margin. When bills come due, take out the margin, deposit in our checking to pay the bills. Okay, here's like an example of how that works. Let's say we got paid 1,500 paycheck, and we're going to start with one bill. We're going to send $500 to Robinhood, and this is a Robinhood account. Let's say we already opened it up with 5,000 to start. So we got paid. We transferred from our checking account to Robinhood. Now we invested it, and now we have $5,500 invested in dividend-paying stocks. So that a bill came due. Let's say we have an auto pay that phone bill that hit our checking account. At that point, we would withdraw $125 from margin and just send it back to our checking account to cover that bill. Okay. So now what we see here is we have a margin that we used of $125, $5,500 that's invested. Okay. And at the end of the month, there will have, assuming a 20% dividend yield, we're going to have a monthly dividend of $110. Anytime money comes in your account, it automatically goes towards the margin balance. So in this case, $110 of dividends hit, boom, it'll reduce your margin by $110. Over here is your available withdrawal. When you open up a margin account, you always have to keep $2,000 invested. You're not in minimum invested, has to stay in the account. It's not available for withdrawal. So that's why you see the 5,000 was put in. 3,000 of that is able to be withdrawn. Okay, so also there's what's called the margin maintenance. Margin maintenance is a minimum amount that the Robinhood wants you to also keep in the account that's not available for withdrawal. So technically on $5,500 in this case, after the dividends have been paid, you will have $2,110 available to withdraw for your bills. That's a 74% buffer. Think of it, a buffer is the amount of margin available for you to use. Okay, so you always want that to keep that high as possible. You never want to use up all your margin, because the benefit of keeping your margin high is to keep as high amount margin available for you to pay bills, and also to ride out the market swings. Okay, as the market goes up and down, you don't have to worry about what's called a margin call. Margin call is, let's say you spent all of your margin down, and let's say there was a 5% margin buffer and the market went down, I'd say 10%, then Robinhood would email you and say, hey, you have to put in the difference in your margin, pay down your margin debt, or sell some of your stocks to cover that margin. But in this case, if you always keep your margin buffer high, that's a good thing. But anyway, so I'm done.